good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the January 12, 2022 meeting of the Park and Recreation Board. Secretary Nicole, could you please call the roll?
Sure. Tammy Lavenda.
I'm here.
Nora Kodak.
Here.
George Ortel.
I'm here.
Nicole Sussman. Here. Community Services Administrator Kyle Riefler.
I'm here.
Yay. Okay, everyone's here.
Okay, perfect. Item number 1 on our agenda, approval of today's agenda. Could I have a motion, please?
I make a motion we approve today's agenda.
I'll second it.
Everyone in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Okay, so today's agenda passes. Item number 2 on our agenda, approval of the November 17th, 2021 meeting minutes that she emailed with today's agenda. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I can make the motion to approve November 17, 2021 meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the minutes pass. Item number 3, citizen comments, and we'd like to welcome Cliff Gibbons to our meeting. Thank you for coming today.
That's good to be.
He has a couple things he wants to talk to us about, and he talked a little bit before the meeting, and it's definitely something we should be talking about, and he put together a little outline for everybody that make sure you have it in front of you.
Well, thank you. I'll give it to you in just a second.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was.
Maybe just an introduction. I'd like to be a part of your group. I met Tommy when we were doing the beach cleanup, or they were doing a beach cleanup back in December, and I just said, gosh, I got to get more involved in this. So we live over in Bel Air Beach, and
We welcome new members. We would love for you to
I
go
will
through
be
the
there
process.
from here on out as much as I can.
Okay.
And,
Well, do you want to be an official member of the board where you get voted on by city council, or do you just want to pop into meetings as a citizen and help?
Whatever you suggest, I'll defer to whatever you want to do. So.
We would love more
Yeah.
members.
Yeah.
We'll take
Yeah.
all the help we can get. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of background and then we'll get into some of this stuff. My great-grandparents, actually, I had a house here in Indian Rocks.
Oh, you did?
And then my father grew up out here in the summers here and loved the beaches area so much. And so he was in the Normandy invasion, and he got some extra money for surviving and leading combat troops in that. And he sent the money home to his father to buy 2 lots on Bel Air Beach.
Oh my goodness, that's outstanding.
His father said, "You're crazy. I don't think you're going to make it home." And he bought one. And the lot is the only vacant lot now still on Bel Air Beach. It's never been developed. And it's right over there, 850 or so block of Bel Air. So he sold it many times over, and or sold it and paid for all of our education. But it ended up that the residue of that ended up buying a place down here on 2300 Gulf Boulevard, a condominium that Mary Smith had developed down there. And you probably know the whole thing was a development for people in Tampa. That's why it's not really livable places. They're just weekend getaway places. So it's just the way it was designed back in those days. There was nothing out there. So so I've been living around here since 1970. Well, living here since 72. But my primary job was in Washington, D.C., so I'm just over here. But when my father died and my brothers didn't want the place, so we bought it outright, and I don't know, a few years back. So we're spending a little bit more time down here, and that's why I want to get involved in this. Anyway, what brings me here today are about 3 items that I would like to help you all on and help the council on.
Thank you.
It's something I've been deeply involved with for many years, and that is the Federal Beach Nourishment projects. When we first moved into this place down here in Bel Air Beach, and it started with U.S. Steel and how they built down at Sand Key. And let me say, I was co-counsel on Save Sand Key litigation, and so I know a lot about beaches and beach preservation, and we went through years of litigation with U.S. Steel to try to save that property down there under a theory of prescriptive easements, and I could tell you a lot more about it. But we just got outgunned and outspent by the time we went to the Florida Supreme Court. But you know, they built all those places out. They put the seawall in the Gulf of Mexico, and they built it as if they were going to build it on the bay. And so it just has caused enormous erosion up and down the Bel Air beach because of what they did there. And it's been well documented. And so by the time the place that we own now in 72, it took a 12-foot luminous depth ladder to get from the beach to the seawall.
Which is hard to picture that.
Yeah, I have pictures of it. I can show you. There's
Yeah.
a big extension ladder we had to
Pictures
use.
are huge impacts, so like that would help.
And so it's taken 5 federal beach renourishment programs to bring it to where it is today. The last one was 2018, and I'd worked a lot on that just from the Washington side, developing the funding for it. And I'd worked on the one, and they go in about 6-year increments, and 3 of them prior to that, and then I know full well about the battles over here at Bel Air Shores, and I can go into that in far more detail, and it's a very interesting story and how that issue and it has developed over the years with even the current litigation, but it goes back. There's a long history on that, and it has to do with why they've never gotten beach renourishment there. And so, what we're faced with here is an opportunity to be a part of the next beach renourishment program. So far, the Army Corps of Engineers has dumped about $140 million into this renourishment from Sand Key, that means from Clearwater Pass to Paso Grill. The split on the money is 60% federal, 20% state, and then 20% county, and then there's a little tiny bit of local municipality money in this thing. As I say, the next project is due and slated for 2024. To be honest with you, we're missing a lot of the deadlines for getting in the queue. Again, we're so far behind now that we're in significant jeopardy of missing this cycle altogether. And if that happens, the next shot of it is not until 2030. And we won't have any beach by that time, I can guarantee you. We're having an erosion, according to the University of South Florida, of 11 feet a year on the beach. That is where the high tide's coming up. And now, even without hurricanes, we have water coming to the sand dunes. So it is a critical issue in terms of the beach preservation out here. There is a number of things that can be done to get us in the queue. What has happened here, I don't want to dominate this, but it's really important, is that the Army Corps of Engineers has required easements because it's a public process. Clearwater and Bel Air have met all of the requirements, and they have deeded the easements in perpetuity. Now, when I say perpetuity, if you deed it in perpetuity, you get Army Corps of Engineer sand for perpetuity. They'll just keep doing it, because once they invest in something, they will keep doing it. But if you don't do the easements, you lose. And you won't get any sand. And so where we are right now in Sand Key is we're way behind the curve. We're really behind the curve in Indian Rocks. They have 106 out of 180 easements that have been granted. Indian Shores is way out of half.
Isn't Indian Rocks fighting the renourishment though?
Yeah,
Well,
I think they just.
Don't you need everyone's approval on it
You
that lives
do.
on Bel Air Shores? On
Yeah,
Indian
you
Rocks?
do.
And if they don't approve it, then
Well, it's the easements that they're lacking. that once they get the easements, then it's automatic after that. But they need these public access easements, of which they've done pretty well on, but they've only done 106 out of 180.
So if they get the easements, then they're allowed to do it up and down.
Yes,
Lots
but
of
now
power
what is going on, I'll just give you some other examples. Reddington Shore, they've got 54 out of 75. Reddington Beach, they've gotten all of theirs done. And so...
You have to be 100% in each section?
That's the new ruling. That's the
Okay.
interpretation by the Army Corps of Engineers. They want to say, hey, listen, if we're going to bring all this heavy equipment in here and do this 9 miles of beach on Sand Key, we want to do the whole beach, not just do segments of it like we've been doing before, leaving out Bel Air Shores and things of that sort. That's just really hard on the equipment. I mean, once you get the momentum going on, if you've ever seen this happen, it is huge operation.
We were here for 2018 and the hurricane came through
Yeah.
and wiped all the sand out, or
Yeah.
moved it anyway.
Well, there's these huge earth moving machines. The mother lode dredge, which they put about 2 miles offshore, is like a city. It's enormous. And so it is a big operation, and they just don't want to have to, figure, well, let's see, we got to put our surveyor sticks down here, and we can't put in sand here, and we got to do that. They don't want to do that anymore. So what they've done a requirement for 100% easements
For the whole
for all of Sand
9
Key,
miles.
from Clearwater Pass to Johns Pass.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people who are just digging in their heels and saying, no, this is an overreach of government and all that. Well, listen, you want to live on the beach? It's just an easement. I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, it's...
Bel Air Shores will never agree to it.
No, of course they won't. And they will continue to stay out there. But what I'm suggesting here, and I won't spend much more time on it, we can come back to this, there's ways to fix this, and you can do it soon. I have cobbled this together in a lot of different ways. This is my craft and work. This is what I've done. I'm a lobbyist in Washington, so I do this stuff all the time. And essentially what we need to do, what Pinellas needs to do with Pinellas County Environmental Protection Group, which is very, very good. What's his name? Dr. You probably work with him, Dr. Bishop, John Bishop.
Oh, Bishop.
Yeah, a really great guy. Is to get with there's 13 baskets of appropriations bills in the federal government each year. This one ends up in the Energy and Water appropriations bill. That's where the Army Corps is. And so I have done the past 3 ones with things that a lot of people find reprehensible. They're earmarks. That's the only way we got the money, is I had to do an earmark for it. Now, this interpretation that the Corps has right now can be fixed with something a little less than an earmark, but it's what they call report language that goes along with the appropriations bill. Report language has what it does is interprets the line items in the budget. And if you get some language in there in the report, the committee report, usually the bill is maybe 1,500 pages and the committee report's about 3,000 pages. And so all we need is a sentence in there.
A sentence?
A sentence in there to say that is the conferees agree to the fact that the Corps' interpretation of 100% is unreasonable, and we need to waive that for the 2024 renourishment project until we can continue to study the impact or something. I can write the language, that's not hard. But the key is you got a titan in Congress right now to pull this off, and that's Congressman Christ. He's on the Appropriations Committee. He's extraordinarily well respected, and he's absolutely one of the closest friends of Nancy Pelosi. If he wants this, he can get it. But what it's going to take is some mobilization here of the Big C and deep coordination on this. So it's uniform. I think we get Bishop on board and all of the Pinellas County people on board, but we got to do this fairly soon because the markup is, well, where you gotta get this language in is April, May. If you miss it, you miss it for a whole year, and then you've lost Chris. And I don't know who's running for this seat again, but nobody gets on appropriations as a freshman. I mean, Chris did because he was a wonder boy and former governor, and he just had this relationship with Pelosi. But this is very doable.
Can I ask you a question? Have you met with the Big C recently?
I've never met with him.
Would you be willing to meet with the Big C?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think like it's, now that I have the understanding that it's the whole 9 mile from Sand Key all the way down to Johns Pass, it's not just like the Park and Rec Board. I will do anything to help you, but it sounds like we need to maybe see if we can set up a meeting so we can have the same conversation with them to get this sentence in there before April or May.
Yeah,
And
you're just going to take some
then-
legwork on the marble. You're going to have to get to Washington and work this, and I'll show you how to do it. I can, I've done it many times before, and I've done it for a lot of universities and so forth. There's a lot of different ways to do this. That's not the hard part. The hard part is just getting people organized and agreeing that we're going to go for a waiver for the 2024 beach renourishment project.
Okay, well Kyle, can you kind of like step in here because it's a little
Yeah,
over my head.
I don't know when the next big C meeting is, but
How often
yeah,
do
it sounds like
they
you
meet?
needed all the beach cities together. To
Yes, I mean, if we had a letter from all of the mayors,
Yeah,
from Clearwater Pass to Johns Pass, to say, yes, we support a waiver in the Army Corps fiscal year 2024.
Or-
We're going into, they're always a year ahead. So this is 2022. So we're actually in the 2023. So this would be the 2024 budget. So, but we really going to need all of the mayors to agree, just sign a letter, which you've done before on all these beach renourishments. I've gotten these letters, but I haven't handled the local part before. I've just handled I've worked for Congressman Young and previous senators and everything like that. So I never really got into this level of what it takes on the grassroots level to get this done. But that's essential to get all that letter signed off on. And it could be a one-pager, and then you got to go hit the marble and start working that within the committee, find some people and I can help with all that. But Chris has got to be your leader on this. I don't think we're going to, the two senators will just give it lip service, and they'll handle this once it gets over the Senate, but it's got to be a House start. So anyway, I don't want to get all the weeds of all that stuff, but we got to get, if we're going to get renourishment out here, we got to do something soon, fast, and aggressively, and in a united way.
you spoke with Vice Mayor?
I haven't spoken to anyone. This is the first time I've spoken to anyone.
Because the Vice Mayor Gaddis is the representative for the Big C for our city.
Yeah.
So if you could speak with him to have it requested to be on the agenda.
Yeah, actually, I did meet with him about this day, about just for Christmas, and he says, "Man, I don't know anything about this. Let me get this campaign behind me, and then we'll get into it." I said, "Well, it's coming faster than that. I mean, you really got to get this coordination done. I think you really got to shoot for this appropriations bill this year, which is for next year." To make sure that you're in the queue, because they're going to start awarding contracts. The Army does way in advance. Matter of fact, they could be even in the process of awarding it now. Their offices are up in Jacksonville, so it's not easy to get to them and work with them. But Bishop's really good. He knows how to do this. We ought to actually get him over here and do a briefing for the council on this and a couple other items in here. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on that. I don't want to take up all your time. I want to help you all on this. I would like to do it. I have a personal interest in it too, and I just it's essential for the integrity and the maintenance of this very fragile beach out here. The number 2 item on here is something I've been involved with for 4 or 5 years with the Pinellas County Department of Environmental Protection and the state. The Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and that is to, again, do what the Army Corps of Engineers want you to do in terms of building dunes. And so they have a very, really exciting program the county has of the planning of the COs west of the dunes. And it's a laborious process by getting the permit, and the permitting stage starts in April or so, and then you have to get a permit from the Florida Department of Environmental Services or Protection. It's very specific, but the problem is, for whatever reason, well, I know what the reason is, but the condominiums out there are so disorganized. And what I'm hoping is that maybe we could work with Bishop and just say we get a power of attorney from the condos, which I'm sure they would do it. I'll go out and get them. To let you all or let the city say, okay, we're going to do this en masse here, and that we're going to get all. Then we've got to put some volunteers together to plant them. I planted last year about 600, and they all been wiped out in subsequent, little fronts and storms and everything like that. The police have done their job of ruining a lot of them by driving all over them, and that's a whole nother subject. And I've got a lot of photographs where they've destroyed most of what I've planted because they drive recklessly all over the beaches whenever they want to. And it's really they don't care either. They just want to get these big SUVs up and down the beach for whatever reason, I'm not sure. But that's where a lot of them. And then we really need to work with the county to maybe change the time of the season. They want you to plant in August because that's when the rains come. Mm. But you're in complete conflict all the time with the turtle people. The turtle, the people that take care of the turtle nests. You can't come anywhere near those things. You're trying to drag a hose over the water. You can't do that.
What would be a better month?
Well, now would be great because there's no turtle nesting right now.
And it's not too cold?
No. It's
Okay.
not too cold at all. But I mean, it's just something to be talking about in terms of changing the timing of this and then getting a power of attorney for the city to make a full application rather than all the property owners.
They all have to do it individually.
Yes, and that's not efficient at all. I mean,
What's the purpose of this program? What are you trying to accomplish?
to preserve
the dunes,
and
the
the
COs keep
build
the
the
sand in
dunes.
place.
For erosion.
Erosion, and it's
Protection from storm surge.
Keeps the
It's
turtles nesting
highly
there,
effective.
but it keeps
builds the dune.
view blocked from the
I probably
backyards
didn't
of
introduce
the,
myself clear enough. I didn't know what you were talking about when you came over here.
which is,
And I'm a professor of
you'll see
coastal
the
geology.
clear top.
Well, you understand this.
I've done this, I've designed these nursery projects, I've been involved with all the various COs and other coastal plants for over 30 years. And that's why I have these questions like...
Oh, well, you're an expert then. You know exactly what this is all about.
No, I don't, because I hear a lot of laymen say things that aren't true, and I kind of sit back and listen to it. But there is a lot of information that needs to be, it's not just a matter of saying COs are good. It's a matter of what you're trying to accomplish. You can put a lot of sprigs out there to try to get a row of COs growing, but if you put it in the wrong place, as you know, it's not going to last. You can put them in a certain place, and the history of their development may be the wrong spot. But you want to get them out on the beach, so you put them out there and say, I've accomplished this.
Well, all of this is done by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. They decide where you put them. They decide how many you put them. They decide exactly the footage, the distance between each plant. They decide everything. All you have to do is say, I want to help plant them, and you follow their guidelines.
Is that the education program that you have listed on here? They teach you like when and where and how?
What's in the application.
Oh, okay.
It's all laid out, page after page, of what you have to do. By the time you finish the application, I mean, it is in extraordinary detail. I mean, again, all we as citizens do is execute what they ask to do. Now, the great thing about it is they give you these COs for free.
Oh, that's good.
Now,
Did John Bishop tell you why they do it during a certain period of the year, or is there like an explanation? behind it?
No, well, because it rains more in the summer rains in August, which,
Okay.
man, the conflict with the turtles and the turtle folks is profound. And then they will call Florida Department of Environmental Services and report you and fine you. And I mean, I left a shovel on the beach, and they wanted to fine me for leaving the shovel. When the kids left the shovel on the beach.
Just not understanding why the sea turtle, the Clearwater Marine Aquarium, sea turtle nest counters and all that have quarrels with the oak planting. Because you would
But-
imagine they would be in
Yeah.
I would think they would too be also, but they're not.
What is the conflict? Is what I'm
They just don't
asking.
want you to get anywhere near those those taped
Why
off
would you
areas.
want to get near the
You
roped
don't.
off?
Well, that's where they tell them where to plant them.
But
though.
you-
They're roped off,
for
you
example,
don't want to plant seals where they're seals.
if you want to do it
That's
in
where
the
they're nesting.
cool hours in the morning, you can't do it before they have an inspection of all of the nests up and down the beaches. So if you decide if you want to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and work till 9 o'clock, you can't do that because they haven't cleared the beach yet. So you're working out there and
They have
95.
a fairly consistent schedule. They go out there on their little
Well,
buggies. They
it-
start south and they head
Yeah,
up north.
yeah, but you never
Stop.
know when that happens. It's very random in terms
Oh, it is.
of when they do it, and it depends on weather and a lot of different things. So, I mean, having done this for 4 years, I want to work with them. I give them contributions, and I'm very supportive of what they're doing. But it is just, they don't want to see any hoses out there. They don't want to see any tools out there. They don't want to see any people out there. They really are antagonistic about people that come anywhere near those nesting sites. And I can see why. I can see what's going on. But I mean, it's just. Anyway, I don't want to dominate this meeting on this, but it is a great program in terms of. I tell people who worry about their view. I said, well, okay, you have a choice. You can look at the sand dune, or the sand dune can be in your living room. And it can be, I have lived here long enough where I've seen a lot of sand dunes in people's living rooms. And it is very true and accurate what these storms will do. And if you want to go down that route, then, maybe your insurance carrier, you get a tremendous reduction in your insurance coverage if you got those dunes out there. If you don't have the dunes out there, the sky's the limit. You probably can't even get it. I don't even know how anybody in Bel Air Shores gets insurance now because they don't have any dunes or anything like that. But anyway, it's something on there. Also, and then a third thing, and then I'll let you all get on with your business. I live in Washington, D.C., and interesting enough, in the early 2000s, a lady died and gave about $500 million to set up a 501c3 to plant trees all over the city. And they had a goal of a 60% canopy by 2032. Well, that $500 million with all the investments that have gone on is over $1 billion now. It's called the Casey Trust. And it's just an idea of setting up a 501c3 here. Maybe you've got it, I don't know, it's the first time I've ever been here,
Yeah.
but where you could take care of these parks and you would have a growing fund so you don't have to go for appropriations to do what you may want to do. And you can really make these special. And then if you wanted to do something like the Casey Foundation has done and put, plant oak trees up and down the streets and things of that sort where you get big canopies around here, you have the means to do it. And then it's just a question of, the local governance bodies do that. Anyways, it's a thought. I'll be happy to undertake this responsibility because there's some interest in doing it. And I can walk you through all the steps of doing it.
No, that would be great, because it was on our agenda for 8 months. I could show you all of our meeting notes, and we did research. We talked to other, like the Garden Club used to have one, and they dissolved it because it was so much trouble. It has to be a separate entity from us.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of tracking and legalities that no one here really felt that they could undertake.
Someone has to maintain it every
Yeah.
single year. And
Yeah.
has to
And you
be
have to file tax
responsible.
returns, and it's no big deal. I mean, it's just, once you've done it, and anybody can do it. I mean,
The point is, we can't do it from this.
no, but you can.
Are you personally
You could
willing to?
promote it and suggest it, and it's got to work. You know, it's going to be working hand in glove
I
with
think
the.
our proposal for 501c3 was put in front of the city council.
We wanted
One time.
our city lawyer to spearhead it, but they would not handle it.
Well-
I didn't want to be responsible for every year making that tax deadline, doing it correctly, understanding it, because I've never done it before. I
30
didn't touch
minutes
it.
and you can do it. It's not a big deal for something like this. You can actually, what they have is a 990 easy form that you just fill out like a postcard and send it in. These are not big deal 501c3s. The IRS just doesn't deal. But what you can do is you start, you know, when people die, they'll say, okay, well, I'll leave so much to this, I'll leave so much to that. And, you know, it's not going to happen in our lifetime, but, you know, in the next generation's lifetime, you're going to have a big pot of money there to do some really cool stuff here. And a lot of beach preservation work, a lot of, you know, canopy work around here, a lot of things that you probably dream about doing, but you just don't have the funding to do it.
Yeah, no, we
So
talked about this for months, and
is
we would
not-
love to.
You can hire somebody to do it if you don't want to do it. Just pay them out of the fund. You know, they got, you know, I can go through all that. You just hire somebody. You basically hire a accounting firm. For
Yeah, but we
nothing.
do, to start off with, we have nothing in the fund, and if our own city attorney isn't willing to get involved for us to hire an outside attorney, that's just not.
No, I'm not suggesting as a public entity. This is totally private, but somewhere there's a swell of support for this notion of doing it. In other words, we understand that this is important for the long-term beautification and environmental protection of this precious piece of sand out here, and you know, you can write all that stuff up, and you know, you just get some citizens to do it. I mean, I'll be happy to just undertake it. I mean, I'm not going to live for 100 years, but you know, this is not that difficult.
Okay, yeah, but it's like you're an attorney though, so if like you're not, and it's a little, so
A
like.
little nervous about
Your understanding of it because you've done it is more than like, say, just mine, you know, I'm not gonna speak for anybody
Well,
else,
there's-
but,
There's
so.
thousands of precedents for this. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, we researched it for, I mean, we talked to all the local people that have done it, like the Garden Club or the City of Bel Air. Who else did we talk to? I can't remember off the top of my head, but like we did research it and we thought it would be a great idea, and we have like, we were gonna do like different levels of support and put like names on bricks, like if you wanted to dedicate it to your loved one that passed.
Benches, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we had lots of things that we kind of like tossed around the table, but it was just getting like the paperwork and the like the down and dirty of it done
No one
or
wants to hold the
started.
bag at the end.
Listen, it boils down to if you want to do it, you can do it. I mean, just don't let all this.
Would you be willing to start that?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
To show us.
I'll be
throughout
happy
the
to do it. I
years,
mean,
and then we could take
the
it over
problem
whenever
is
you want
that-
to throw it at us.
You got to get started on it kind of soon because I don't want to get into politics, but the previous president had so many problems with 501c3s that he abolished the office that reviews it by moving them to Lubbock, Texas. And nobody in the IRS wanted to move to Lubbock, Texas. So you have nobody in that office right now that can review these applications. I'm going through another one right now where they just don't have anybody in the IRS that can do it because nobody moved to Lubbock, Texas. And so it's been gutted. So it'll take 9 months to a year just to get approval on something like this if you follow the documents. It's not hard to do. And you just turn it over to the citizens, and you've got to have a president. You've got to have it's a two-step process. You get the corporation established by the state of Florida, you file it in Florida, and then you apply for your 501c3 through the IRS. So it's a two-step process. The filing fee for the state of Florida is $10. But you gotta write a pretty good proposal, and it's gotta be public use oriented. And it just, there's some buzzwords you have to put in there. But, I can help you sit down and read. You don't have to hire anybody to do it. You just, write it up.
Because of the sunshine laws, we can't be part of that.
Well, I
We can hand it
understand.
off to somebody to do and get approval from the city council or disapproval. But we can't.
Well, I understand that
It wouldn't be
completely.
part of the city.
Yeah, it's not. This would not be.
Completely private.
I know, that's what I'm
But-
saying. It has to be, when we were discussing things here just now, we were saying, well, you can do this and you can do that. It's no big deal. But it is a big deal because of sunshine laws. We can't do this, we can't do that.
But
But
maybe
it's not a part of the city, so
No.
the sunshine law wouldn't apply. I can go have lunch with Tammy and go hang out with her and talk to her about other things and open up a business with her, and the sunshine law wouldn't apply.
But
Only
anything
if that
that you-
business was selling things and goods from here, or a business underneath this roof.
Or you can't have any discussion with Tammy about stuff.
Well,
Don't forget
the
about
only
that.
thing I'm suggesting is that maybe the council or someone can say, we've looked at this idea, we think it's a good idea, and we hope somebody in the community will take the ball and run with it.
That's what we'd have to do.
Yeah, exactly. But it has to kind of start somewhere. I don't know anybody around here.
Well, you know what's great? When we were talking about this initially, we had no way to find those people who might be interested as a private citizen of Bel Air Beach. But now that we have the sign, we would be able to maybe say, put something on there, like if you're interested. No one really, like they always have on the Bel Air Beach website, if you're interested in volunteering for any of the boards, please contact City Hall. But the sign would get people that don't necessarily always go to that website, and it might help promote some interest in people who don't want to get involved in the city politics, but as a private entity and a non-for-profit, that might be in their wheelhouse, and they might be more interested and inclined to join something like that. So, we have that now where we didn't have that when we first started talking about this last October, meaning of 2020. We didn't have any way to contact people to say, hey, so now we do. So it's it's a possibility.
Here's the intersection. You're going to be raising private money to put it on public property. And so, Kyle's going to have to go out and water the trees when you plant them. Or somebody's going to have to, or you're going to have to get water there somehow. You can't go planting stuff without water. And so there's got to be some kind of a relationship that, everybody's on the same page here. But legally you're not. This is two entities, one on the outside, one on the inside, but it's the city's property.
Yeah.
Or in-
Ideally, the group would form,
Yeah.
and then once it was established, would then
Yeah.
create an agreement with the city.
Exactly, to say, hey, listen, maybe you can't go do it, but somebody else has the opportunity to go turn the garden hose on and do it. Or if they want to do other plants, they can plant it, but it's ultimately up to the city to decide who goes on that property, when they go on that property, and what they do on that property. So some people may say, I'd like to plant, whatever, I'd like to do this, but so it has to be some kind of coordination.
It would be donated, and then we would assume responsibility.
Exactly, and maybe you can have citizens groups that actually undertake some of these
Yeah, they can
responsibilities,
help.
but it's the money is going to the public property.
Right. So the cohesion has to be there, right?
Yeah,
That's what we're saying.
you can keep the firewalls in it all you want. That's a totally private venture, but it has to do. You get to the point where, are these trespassers? Or are these people trying to help?
Gotcha.
And you have to get a definition of what that is, because if you do it here on the beach, and you can also do it on the beaches itself for beach preservation and so forth out there. So there's a lot of opportunities to do this, and there's a tremendous amount of potential money that you can raise doing this. And you just have to look around the country and see how this is. And as you get more and more into sort of green public policy, this is a pretty hot thing to be doing right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll
No,
stop
all
there.
these are great, and we appreciate you coming
Yeah.
and bringing them up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like to help you in every way I can.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Okay, does anybody have any other questions for Cliff, or are we all good?
I think we're good.
Yeah, just let me know. I've done this so many times. I'd love to have somebody working with me to you know, so there's some way of communicating. But I think if you make a recommendation to the council, Gaddis understands this, but he doesn't know, he admitted he didn't know anything about it. And he wants to do something, but the urgency is right on top of this election.
Okay.
And then
Well, we'll focus on your item number 1 first because it's most time sensitive, and see if we can get you on the Big C meeting, or at least like make some phone calls, and then I'll follow up with you. I have your phone number.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, sure.
I have to wait.
There, you can keep going.
Should I go on?
Yeah, just go on.
Okay, all right, so item number 4, discussion of the health and wellness fair final details. So in front of you, you have 3 different pieces of paper. There's like a 1-pager with just basically like what we could hand out, or I'm gonna put them in the park like board. We're gonna hang them on the doors. This is an updated one from what's on the door and what's in the stack out there. So if you take a look at it, it literally just has our, we have 25 people that are committed to it. Yeah, that's the one, George, I'm talking about. We have 25 people committed to it. And if you wanna take a look at who we have Baycare, we have a dietitian and personal trainer. We have our in-house stand-up paddleboard yoga. Bel Air Coffee's gonna be in the lobby with the welcome table. I could go on and read the whole thing, but like we have anything from a chiropractor to a dentist to a med spa, mental health therapist. Palms of Largo is going to be here, the Vein Institute, physical therapist,
We have
CBD
room for
store.
all this?
Huh?
Yeah,
Do we have room for all this?
We do. Okay, so if you look on the next page,
I'm impressed.
this is going to be at our welcome table. This is going to be what we're going to be handing out. So if you look on the map, this whole big section where the stage is going to be off, so we're going to blow it up. So if you look at it, it's got each of the people, each of the providers that are going to be here, and it's like their table assignment. So I've talked to all of them, obviously numerous times. I know the size of the table they need, if they need electricity, if they need to be against a wall because they have a massage table, or they have a big screen that they're going to be projecting, you know, whatever their services on a screen behind them. So if you walk in the door, it's, you know, table 1, and then we're going to have at least 3 entrances, one in case someone comes in the back door, and then the 2, you know, right out here where we would normally go in for meetings. So Surfside Produce, acupuncture, the stretch therapist, the massage. Oh, that massage and wellness needs to change, sorry. Telehealth, Gold's Gym, Bel Air Dental, Living Young, Baycare, on and on and on. So when they walk in the door, I've told everybody that we're going to be here at 9 o'clock, so they have between 9 and 9:45 for setup. And depending on if they just need to throw on a tablecloth and, you know, some business cards, or if they have a big elaborate setup, they need to be here at 9 so they're ready for the 10 o'clock start. So I just wanted to get your input if you had any questions or any suggestions on the layout. This is first, Kyle, you know, I put this together yesterday morning and Kyle threw it on here right before the meeting. So we were kind of talking about traffic patterns and the doors where people are going to get in and out. Like I said, where people need extra space and where they don't. Like Baycare requests 5 chairs. So like if you look at that second aisle, that's why that second aisle is kind of like skewed from the other ones, because they literally are going to be doing, like, so and if you look at Baycare is number 9. Oh, these are off now, Kyle. The numbers are off on this. You gotta, because you moved the tables.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
So again,
I
this
will
is
fix
like
that.
first go around, so like all this stuff will be cleaned up. But if you look at Baycare, you know, they're doing wellness screenings, glucose test, diabetes, BMI, and blood pressure. So initially they wanted 2 chairs, now they need 5. So they need a lot more space. And then Gold's Gym, they're going to be doing like the in-body scanner, so like they needed some space and electricity. So it's just kind of like, you know, their specialty and what they're doing and what they need, and we're just, you know, I would say this is probably 85%. We might need to make a few more changes.
Yeah, so the little lightning bolts are where there's power in the facility. And the idea is we're gonna, once we get this thing finalized, we're gonna do a front and back handout to the people who come to the event so that they have all the information that they need to get around. And I'm gonna clean it up so obviously it's easier to read. We'll take out this whole dais thing and make it bigger.
Oh, looks great.
What are your thoughts? Suggestions?
I think it's great. However, have you thought about spacing related to COVID stuff? I mean, does that play a role in any of this?
Well, we're gonna, at the welcome table, we're gonna give them this handout, and we're gonna have hand sanitizer, and we're gonna have a mask. So, I mean, the room is pretty big. Kyle said we could fit more tables in here, so there's gonna be spacing as far as like letting so many people in the room at one time, or?
No, I'm just thinking, is there some kind of a was that in your plan at all? Say, let's try to keep these 6 feet away from each other so we don't have a crowd of people shoulder to shoulder.
Well, I mean, we'd have to do that with regulating how many people we let in at one time if we want to go that direction.
I don't know. I'm just, it's a wellness and a health fair, and I don't think we don't want it to be a contagion fair.
Right. I understand that.
I think it looks great, but I was wondering, do you know what the spacing is between these tables?
You're looking at you're looking at like 5 feet about.
Between the tables,
But,
and the
you're
tables
not
are
gonna-
8 feet long, most of them.
Mhm.
So that's, 12 feet.
I mean, we're not gonna regulate mass.
But we're gonna have them
Yeah,
available, so like if they, if you wanna wear a mask, we're
Yeah,
gonna
they're
have hand
gonna be-
sanitizer
so-
everywhere.
So that
You could take your own
sanitizer
precaution.
everywhere, and we can have masks available.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
pass them out at the welcome table.
Okay.
I'm sure that the vendor people, they're gonna wear a mask or not, depending on how they feel.
Yeah. That's the only thought I had.
We had that thought too, like between Kyle and I had one person ask about COVID on this whole sheet. And I'm like, okay, if we have 10 people cancel because they're feeling a little uncomfortable with it, then obviously we would reschedule or do something different with it. But like no one was showing any type of hesitancy as long as we do the precautions, meaning like, we will tell people, like right now, because we can count as we hand out these pamphlets. So right now we have X amount of people in the room, like, and they're literally going to go through and out the back. So however they want to circle around that. And the reason why we did this kind of map is like some people may not want to go in and go to 24 tables. They might want to go to 3. And then, they just go do their thing and then go out. So we don't know what kind of turnout we're going to have.
Yeah.
It's just because this is our first one, but this is our only event so far that applies to everyone in the city, because something on this page would apply to most every household, I would think, where our other events have been, pretty, the Halloween parade. I mean, I guess Christmas, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But we don't know what to expect. So it may not be an issue at all, or we may have to say, okay, we're limited to X amount of people going in the room, and when so many people exit, then we can let the next group in or whatever.
How do we advertise or promote this?
Okay, so this sheet is on the website, and it literally says on the sign out there, Health and Wellness Fair, January 22nd, 10 to 12, see city website, and then they can print this off and see. And then the signs that we've done for all of our other events, they are already out. So when you're driving, I've seen at least 2 of them, for where I live. And then, we're putting these in the parks.
And we'll post too.
Yeah, we're posting on Best of Bel-Air Beach. So we're posting on Next Door.
Is Clint Jones gonna post? Is Clint Jones gonna post?
Yeah, and actually, like, people on this page are also putting it on their sites. But like, we need to be a little careful with that because we're not telling people from outside of Bel Air Beach that they can't come. But like, we obviously, as it's been discussed many, many times, don't have the parking or the ability, capacity to, you know, like, promote this in every city around here. So I think it's kind of what we've done in the past, and then a little bit more, one, because we have the sign, and two, because we have vendors that are also posting. And I don't know if you have another idea of how we can get this out there, but like, I think we pretty much checked all the boxes of everything that's in our capability without spending like $1,200 on a mailer, which we're not going to do because.
What metric would you think we should have for deciding whether this is a success or not?
What metric? I would say, okay,
Just
our
a head
average.
count or something like that?
Say again?
Just a head count?
Head count. I would say head
That's what we've been
count.
doing.
And you know what was brought to my attention today, which I didn't really think about it, because like, we're not charging these people to, you know, come and stand at a table here, because I think it is a service to our community. Like, I'm grateful and thankful that these people are taking their Saturday to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But what didn't come to my mind was, like, say if someone paid $100, don't call it an entry fee, they're more liable to, like, not be a no-show. Like, I don't think anybody on here is going to be a no-show, but you have it happen at almost every single thing like this. Someone gets sick, someone gets whatever, their babysitter canceled. You're always going to have someone that doesn't show. Now, whether charging a fee and saying if you show up, you get it back, or we're going to charge a fee and we're going to donate it to charity, that might be something that we look at. If this are, you know, whatever metric we use for success, we deem it a success, and we have one again next year. And, you know, if we have 5 people that don't show up, maybe we do say, you know, it's for a charity or you get it back, whatever. But like this year, we just decided that, like in Oldsmar, they never charge to have people come in because, again, it's a bit, it's a whole, it's the
They want to
weekend.
be there.
They want to be there. They're promoting their businesses. They want to, and no one has been able to do anything like this for 2 years. Almost every single person on here said we have not been able to, because of COVID, and now they're finally opening it up. And some of the people coming, this is their marketing department. This is all they do. So it's, you know, it's their job. Like, they're not going to not do their
Very
job. So I think the metric for success, I absolutely is head count, because that's my number one thing. Like, if we only get the same 100 people that have come to our last 3 events, be it they're different because, you know, they may have a dog, or they may like jazz, or they may, you know, they may have just been at our Christmas thing because they wanted to come to the council meeting. For whatever reason, I'm hoping this event brings more of the 1,250 residents out.
1,600.
1,600, sorry. Yeah, well, we mailed to 1,250, so for whatever
Oh, yeah.
reason, that number always sticks into my head.
If you get 100, that's over 5%. I mean, that's not.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would think we can try to pick a metric beforehand, but I just feel like being this our first one, there's lots of different levels on whether or not it's successful. But head count, I definitely think, is one of them.
And the snowbirds are here. That means more people can show up.
If we do this again, we can do a raffle.
A lot of the tables are doing raffles.
They are doing raffles, their own.
Yes,
Yeah.
raffles. There's people that are doing
Love
spin
raffles.
games. There are
Yeah.
people that are like handouts, free stuff.
Yeah, Bel Air Coffee's
But
giving
we could
free
ask
coffee.
that they donate it to us and we do the
I don't know. I mean,
But there's
we're-
nothing we're gonna do with the email list.
raffle. Huh?
You really want to do a raffle?
Not this time.
I mean, honestly, like, that's so
Um,
easy to throw together. If
Yeah.
we could get permission, we could throw together a Bel Air Beach basket with or, you know, beach towels,
we
a
could do that.
T-shirt, and get raffle tickets.
All
That's
these
easy.
people can
We could have it at our welcome table.
donate, you know, certificates and people can raffle for that, you know?
It's just
You
like
can sell
most
raffle tickets.
the
You
people at the
can
tables doing
make
it,
money
like
from it.
they're collecting probably emails, so that's like something that they'll like generate. But like people don't like really, we don't really do anything with the emails in the city besides send the newsletter. But like I don't even get the thing. Like
Why don't you get it?
I don't know.
You gotta give Lori your email
I'll
again.
check with you.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it's
yeah.
a good idea, like, maybe we just start small this year, and if we get approval from Lynn and Kyle to, like, maybe donate 2 towels and some t-shirts, we can put one together and just, it's a raffle and kind of like a, you know, thank you for coming, and then there's other raffles that they can also participate in. And I'm not gonna ask anyone in that room to donate because they're already donating to their own raffle. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Like, so if like they're putting together a $100 gift card for something, I'm not gonna ask them for another $100 gift card for our raffle basket, if that makes sense.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, so I thought if we just, you know, we could put cute stuff in it that's more beachy oriented if you really feel strongly about a raffle. But there are raffles being done, and like spinny games, like,
I kind of feel like since this is our first time, maybe we should hold off on the raffle
yeah, I'm
next time.
indifferent either way.
I know we were psyched up for it.
I started off the sentence with if we do this next year.
She did. But it
Well,
is
I
easy.
did not say let's throw
Well, we
together
can
a
tell
last
psych
minute
you
raffle
are.
for next week when I'm not here. I just-
She did, and I understand
Yeah.
that. So we can just, for next year, we can talk about a raffle, if you wanna do one at the table. But the other thing we could do is maybe we can ask people ahead of time to donate to the raffle, to get them
Yes.
here. Like, or not, like more as a guarantee to keep them here. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So that's a good idea. Without charging money, it would be more like a contribution from your business, whether it be a free visit or whatever. And then if they don't show up, then we take it out of the raffle basket. I'm kidding. But I don't know. Nicole, what's your thoughts on the raffle?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's good as long as we have more time to like.
Okay, so scrap
Do it.
it. No Beller Beach basket for this year, just do
And
it
we
for
can.
next year.
With our luck, we'll have 300 people running in here to get a ticket.
Okay.
I mean, I'm cool with whatever. I just need to know so I can add it to the post or not.
Yeah, just put potential, like suggested raffle for next year, if we have next year, whatever. What else? Anything else?
Me as an outsider, I can make one recommendation. If you see all the national headlines in today's papers around the country, it is the fact that the federal government is now going to provide 500 million COVID tests for free in the next few weeks. And so if you had a one pager, you know, maybe on the Bel Air Beach table or something like that to say, go on the internet and here are the 8 vendors, this is how you do it. This is how, it's all free. You know, even if you're on health care, all the insurance companies can be reimbursed for this. If you don't have insurance, there is a way that it will be paid for. But most of it's going to be done off the internet, and you just order. You can order as many as you want, as often as you want, according to the press releases that came out in the newspapers today. And it'll come to you in the U.S. mail.
No,
So-
that's a good idea. That's something
Yeah.
else we could have on our welcome table.
Yeah, so people can pick that up and, you know, take it home and pop it in. And it's supposed to be just, you know, a matter of 30 seconds and you get all the supply of tests you need.
I hope that works like that. That'd be
I
awesome.
don't know, there's a big splash in all the newspapers today. The president gave a speech in Atlanta yesterday on it.
Okay, no, that's good.
And they rolled it out yesterday. See, that's a very ambitious project.
Hmm?
It's a very ambitious project for that. But they got
It's
Alright,
like
we'll
there's-
try to look up info on that.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Put some time.
Cool. Anything else? Any other suggestions? This was like because of the sunshine laws, Kyle and I were talking about it this morning, like it felt it was like so many moving parts and so many phone calls, and to have a meeting for every single one of these things would have been difficult. So it's just like, let's throw the preliminary together and then get suggestions at the meeting, because all of this can be, you know what I mean? Like if you, format wise, but as far as like people that are actually participating in the health and wellness fair, you know, we have a pretty good variety, And we have some pretty big names. So I was happy with the people that said yes. The only person that wouldn't do it is Walgreens, because they're still not doing them nationally. Like, they have a whole, like, department that's all they do. So they were the only ones that said next year, definitely call us next year. And so I was pretty happy about that. But, you know.
So did you say you're not going to be here?
She can never be at anything on a Saturday.
Are you gonna be
Oh.
here, George?
22nd?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody else.
Yeah, which, I mean, we need that, so it's okay. Yeah, it's just what it is, so. All right, so you guys, I mean, if you, like, we're gonna finalize these in the next couple of days. If you, like, maybe have a few more minutes, like, after the meeting, and you wanna, like, if you have any suggestions or anything like that, just email Kyle. Because you can email him all day long, but you can't email me unless, you know, we have to have.
Yeah, I can CC Patty.
Yeah, because it's got to be like a documented, because this is for a city event. So, and even anything, like, if you think of another way to advertise, but without spending a boatload of money, which we don't want to do. We didn't want to spend any money on this event. Like, they're donating their time, other than just, like, basically the use of the building. We didn't really need to spend anything. So we weren't going to spend anything on mailers. We were hoping between the sign and the website and the postings that we would get the word out. And, like, the other thing I'm gonna do, if you guys could do this too, is, like, this one pager, like, you know, text it, make some copies, give them to your neighbors. Like, if you live in a condo, post it, like, in your little board. Just, you know, tell your friends and family who live around you who may not go on the Bel Air Beach website, or, you know, like, obviously sometimes when you're driving down the street, it took me 10 passes before I saw it, because, you know what I mean, the sign flips over. So, you know, if I think we all do that, we can reach more people that way. But between posting it and the signs, I don't know, because I feel like our signs now are kind of, they stuck out more before. They're kind of getting swallowed up in all of the election signs.
Yeah.
So there was a house that went for sale on our block, and I literally just glanced. I thought it was an election sign, and I did a double take, and I was like, oh my gosh, that house is for sale. But I thought it was, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's right behind you, that yellow one, like kitty corner.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's on Penny, right? Penny. Well,
Yeah. Did it sell?
it's pending.
Oh, it's pending. Oh.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
my backyard neighbor.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So, yeah, if you think of anything, or anything that you want to add to our welcome table, like, we're gonna obviously we'll use the banner that we already had made that says community table. We'll have our suggestion box out. We'll have the map of the room. And then we'll have the free COVID test from the federal government. You know, we can have that one pager out. And then we're also gonna have, you know, the blood donation, the bloodmobile will be in the parking lot. And her paperwork will be on our welcome table, because she couldn't stay for the whole time. And so we're just gonna have her stuff on the table.
And if you call Moffett, Moffett will bring a screening truck out here too.
Hmm?
Moffett will bring a screening truck if you want him to.
What's Moffett?
The comprehensive cancer center here for this area of the country. The
Um,
Moffett Cancer Center.
oh.
The only comprehensive cancer center in the state of Florida.
And they have a mobile unit?
Oh yeah. For skin cancer. Big one.
What do you think about that?
It's
No, I think it's a
Call-
great idea. The only thing, it's like we're talking about taking up parking spaces.
Yeah, parking zoning.
Because the big red bus already takes up like 6 spots. And then to have another mobile unit, it's, you know, it would almost be like for next year, I would
Yeah,
switch
maybe
out the
it's-
bloodmobile and get
Yeah.
that. Because I tried so hard to get a dermatologist, and they have a department that does this, and they're still just leaving me.
Oh, this is a roving truck. They have it at Clearwater Beach all the time, and it's called Mole Patrol.
Can they be on the circle? Where we put the icy
Could.
truck?
What we're trying to do is when the vendors move their stuff in, after they get all set up, we're trying to move them around to the Bayside Park area to keep parking available here.
And one of the yoga instructors wanted to go out and do like little mini instruction on the sundial.
She wouldn't be on the sundial, where the ice cream.
Where we had the ice
Just
cream.
against
Yeah,
the
she's
dumpster.
Oh, yeah.
Or unless they can just come in here and get a table.
It's worth a phone call.
Anyway, Moffett has the little staff of doctors too, the oncologist.
The mole patrol, I like that. Yeah, I really wanted a dermatologist, I just didn't have any luck. Okay, we'll definitely look into
Preeminent
that.
Cancer Research Center in this part of the country.
Awesome. And then, yeah, hand sanitizer and mask we already talked about. Oh, and then so Laura came in here right before the meeting. I was going to do inventory. Nicole brings it up almost every meeting about how, like, if you're a resident and you work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, City Hall isn't open. So, what do you guys think about having the Bel Air Beachwear table out selling stuff that day? I mean, it's not health and wellness, but it's an opportunity because people may be able to get in here on a Saturday that couldn't do it during the week. So I didn't know. What do you think about that, Nicole?
Yeah, I mean,
Because you're always
Sell
our
towels.
merchandise girl. And
do we get anything after the Christmas thing?
No. But
Okay, so
there's
can we
things
just?
we need to sell though if we can.
Yeah, so can we just do like? Do we need to do a whole table or can we?
we can put it on the 8-foot welcome table.
Just do a small.
Well, yeah.
Or 6
so-
foot. Oh, we're gonna do a 6-foot welcome
Because
table.
since like we don't have any volunteers, like we can consolidate. So
We could
like
do
when
a
they
s-
come in, at least like I can manage it or whatever.
Yeah, well, we could take turns.
Okay.
And then Kyle, we need one person to be kind of on the floor to make sure that everything's good there, and then like one person or 2 people at the table. And there's 4 of us, so I think we should be able to do it. So yeah, you shouldn't be stuck behind that table the whole entire time, and we all should have the opportunity to walk through the health fair. I mean, I need to get a dentist here. I mean, I've got my little list of people that I like want to go and check out, like, what they offer and meet with them, because in the 4 years I've lived here, I still don't have those.
She's got a dentist on here, or what did you say?
I said, I don't have a dentist here. I still go to Indiana to get my teeth cleaned. So I need a new
What?
dentist. Yes.
How'd you get Dr. Quick to come?
He is one of Jody Shirley's tenants.
There you go.
And so is, well, I don't think
Jody
physical.
Shirley's tenants? Or
She
his
owns a
business?
house in Bel Air.
She owns
Oh, maybe she owns this building for his
I would
business.
imagine his business. not
Yeah,
his-
she just said tenant, so I didn't know. I didn't ask.
He also lives here.
In Bel Air Beach?
Believes.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Could be making that part up. but I-
She just said, you don't happen to need a dentist and a physical therapist, do you? I go, absolutely. I've been calling these people
He's coming out,
endlessly.
though. I'm trying to get an appointment with him. He's,
Backed up.
I couldn't even get one. And he's coming himself, that's amazing.
As far as I know.
Should be here to ask him for an appointment.
Will you bring your book with
It
you?
was right after COVID though, they're like, we're 6 months out, I went back to school. I wish. Too hard.
So is my vet. It's just the way it is around here. Dr. Todd in Animal Hospital of Dunedin. So, anyway, all right. So, are we, again, if there's anything else that anybody has, I'm more than welcome to talk about it. Any suggestions? It's Thursday. Like, if maybe you could get them to Kyle by Tuesday of next week, and then we have time, and then we're going to meet the Friday before. I have 2 o'clock on the meeting, but Kyle leaves like at what, 2:30?
3:30.
3:30. Can anybody meet earlier than 2, or is 2 pretty much the?
I personally can.
I can. George, can you meet earlier than 2 on the 21st?
Yeah, I think so.
Nicole?
1.
1.
It's probably the earliest.
An hour helps.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Won't be
we'll.
that long.
Okay, thank you. We'll make it 1 o'clock, and I'll have Patty change it on the notes.
And that's just to finalize the,
That's fine.
The tables
we'll
and do
set
the
up all the
walkthrough.
tables and all that.
And the spacing that you're asking about, until we get those tables set up, like, you know, obviously we're looking at this
Yeah.
diagram, so we can work a few things out, like on Friday.
So which one?
1 o'clock, yes.
will Patty send us
An updated?
Yes.
Mhm.
Perfect. Okay, okay, is there anything else that anybody wants to talk about right now for the Health and Wellness Fair?
So Tuesday is the cutoff if we happen to get one more person.
Well, we actually don't have room for anybody.
Okay,
The only thing
that's
that we
fine.
would have is maybe some pendings if we have no, like if someone cancels, but if someone calls me the morning of and says, I'm sick, my kid's sick, I don't have, I mean, I don't know, then we get more spacing between tables.
Okay, that's fine.
Were you gonna do that last minute call through everybody or the list or the follow-up reminder?
Yeah, so I did it, I've been doing it the last week, and then
Oh, okay.
I'll do it, so like when I talked to them originally, and then I called 2 weeks out, and then I'm gonna like call, text, or email like 2 days before. And literally, if they're not returning my calls, I'm going to their businesses. Because I'm like, I can't
Yeah.
have you not show up. You know what I mean? And not in a mean way. I'm just saying, because it's
No.
like, I know people get busy and then they forget or whatever. But honestly, I think there's only like 3 people that hasn't reconfirmed with me. And so,
Good.
do you have Clem's cell phone?
Yeah, I do.
Clint Jones?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Can you send it to me?
I'd
Yeah,
have
I'll
to
give
like
you right
look
now.
through.
Okay.
Terrible at
Who's
saving
Clint
numbers.
He's Beller Living.
Yeah, he
Oh,
owns
I-
Beller Living.
I have a number for him on this sheet. I just don't know if it's
Here it is,
813
813-463-6012.
463.
Oh, so you have the right one?
Do I have the right one?
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and then he's much better at texting.
Okay, perfect.
He
I'll
gives
text
us
him.
like a lot of like exposure and stuff on things.
I got an old car and he showcased it in this January issue.
Oh, nice.
It was
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
so I got to know.
Yeah, he used to work out right after me, so I saw him a couple times a week, and now he's not doing it because he had eye surgery or something, so I haven't seen him at all. So I'll text him.
Well,
But he's one of the guys I still need to
he's
touch
good.
base with.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
Just text him and that's the best way to reach him.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, Tuesday, if there's any new ideas, or if you, about our welcome table, or about the layout, or just any questions that you have. Lynn suggested the fire department like the day before yesterday, and I called them and they're coming. So I don't know exactly what they're doing. It might be like CPR kind of demonstrations, but they've done things like this before, and so that's how Lynn knew them, and so it was good that they came on. So they were they were number 25. So I count the Bloodmobile, even though they're sharing a table with us, they are in that number. So anyway, Tuesday, I would say what, by noon? Does that give you enough time, Kyle?
Yeah.
If there's any new ideas or
Yeah, we're good.
things that you guys want to do or change, or if you have questions. Okay, so item number 5. So we, back in, it was a while ago, we did the, remember these? The pictures? Okay, so, we haven't done it in a while, and so I would like to maybe schedule another round of surveys of the parks. I have our minutes, like our recap, so I know what everybody did last time. So just a couple things, like Nora, these were great that you took pictures, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't remember what that is. So I think it would be awesome if we could figure out next time, we could maybe change up who does what. Everybody takes pictures. We figure out a way to get them printed out. We don't have to have copies, just one copy I think would be okay, to pass around the table.
Yeah.
And then we logo or label what it is. Because like say for example on South Park, which is by my house, I didn't do that one last time. But like right on the very corner, right before you hit Indian Rocks, which according to Lynn, the property may be Indian Rocks, the seawall is literally crumbled in half. And they just put in a new seawall at the house right next to it. So a resident came up to me and said, you know, why can't we fix the seawall in the park while they're already there doing it, and they literally could go like this and fix it, because that's where it touches. And so like I came in and I went through, and like Patty has everything so greatly filed, and she pulled it right out and blah blah blah. But like she had these pictures, but I don't think any of these were South Park. You know what I mean? Just like in retrospect.
I can tell you exactly where.
Yeah,
walk
you.
me to
Yeah.
right now.
But for next time, it was great that you did this.
Yeah,
we,
but
we all need to do it and then
You don't need
label
to
it.
take at your own expense and print photos. I mean, if you can send them and I can put them together and print them on the copy
Yeah, so we
sheet.
could email them and you could print them. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like, yeah, I don't expect anyone to go to
Because
Walgreens
everyone
and
should-
spend the money. And then maybe put like a little, you know, blurb underneath, like where it is, like 2nd Street, northeast corner or whatever. And then we kind of know what we're looking at. You would know, but like when I was in here with Patty, I wasn't sure like what it was. And then just kind of thinking back, does anything we don't even have to set it up for this meeting, but like just think about it, and like for our February meeting, we can do the assignments of the park, and maybe if anybody thinks of anything else that would make it a more productive and, you know, a way to like follow up, so then we can look back and say, okay, we surveyed on this date, these were our pictures, these are the things that were corrected by this date, or these are the things that are on the schedule, so we show progress and we show like what our survey did, like, or you know, why we did it and what got accomplished. Because we spent the time doing it, we need to, you know, make sure. Because like we did it once and it was great and it was eye-opening. I went to a lot of parks that I hadn't been to. We took lots of pictures. I know a lot of the stuff got done, like the Morgan Park got painted, and you know, like they definitely did a great job of following up. I guess like next time we do this, I think as a project, maybe we have just a one-pager saying, these are our findings, this is what got done, and then we present it to city council. So it's like, I mean, it clearly says, like, in our ordinances, our codes, or whatever this is called, what our duties are as park and rec. And to say, okay, well, okay, well, what have you done to fill, like, section 3851? You know, this is what we did. Not that I feel like we need to justify our time or I just think even for our own knowledge and like looking back, you know, our recap, what did we do in 2021? You know, what can we improve upon in 2022? I think, you know, it's just, I never want to create another tracker, because in my previous life, I was the queen of trackers. I was the queen of filling out boxes and like documenting tons of things like this so my sales reps could get their incentives, or, you know, we could prove that we did our assigned jobs or whatever. So I just think that like maybe bringing just a little bit more of that into this. Because we always do a, you know, how did we do? What could we do better? If we did the same thing, what would we do different? We always have that discussion. And I know, you know, Nicole does a good job in the minutes of like doing the recaps, but like if we just had like a little recap of the year, I don't know, I'm just making a suggestion, we could do whatever, but I think it would be good. So for the surveys, if we assign them in February, and then we take like, you know, the whole time and we review them in March's meeting, like maybe in February, maybe Kyle can come up with a, like what would be easy for you as a tracker or whatever when we email you the pictures.
Well, if you just email me, I can label them and so that we can present them at the meeting. But I use a corrective action, like Excel sheet for our safety program, so I could just make one for our park corrections. And
Okay.
And then what it does is you just, you know, fill in what it is and then who's assigned to it and how it gets done, and then it keeps a percentage of how complete you are.
Okay, yeah, that's great, because I know that stuff got done, but I don't know exactly what got done and how much in percentage. I definitely don't know
Right,
that.
and I didn't do that for the last one, but some of it might have actually transferred into the safety, just because it was safety related.
Yeah.
So I could just do one for our group and,
Okay. Yeah, I
And then
was
we
trying to
can use
think
it
of
to
ways to
track.
make more effective use of our time and to make sure that, like, one, we were, everybody did a good job of, like, looking and finding different things. But again, maybe you give some thought to this and,
no, it's always good because then you get a different set of eyes looking at stuff, you see things and
yeah, and we can change up parks, because I still haven't been to all the parks. Like, I've been to, I would say 80% of them, but I want to say there's probably 3 that I haven't been to yet, so like, and maybe take a look at the list if there's ones like maybe at the far end of where you live that you haven't been to either. We try to maybe divvy them out so we all get to see different things than what we, have done in the
Do you have
past.
the list of like what part someone did last?
I do.
Okay. I was gonna say we just write it down and switch the papers and like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then we'll divvy up whatever, I'm sorry, I'm blanking, the guy that was here in the beginning, like,
quick shot.
yeah, we can divvy up what he surveyed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
different perspective and
And
it's
Deb
just
Keith
easy.
too. She
Oh,
was
yeah,
here.
that's right, so.
Yeah, so like there's not
Just
as many
do that.
of us, so we'll have more parks, I think I had 3 last time. We'll have more parks each because
Yeah.
there's fewer of us, but that's okay. I mean, yeah, but anything else that you think of, like, that would have helped you, or if you had a form? I think for me, if I had a form to write on, I know we had something, but it wasn't very helpful. And I think I did it, so it needs to be better. Like, like more detailed or something to make the process easier to lay out or to, record your findings, I guess.
Maybe
Yeah,
Kyle's
we could-
group is doing such a great job, you didn't need to remember it.
What? Right. And they are. They are. But see, I don't remember if Second Street seawall or if the South Park seawall was completely falling apart like that. I think it's way worse than it was.
No, the seawall that we had that was brought to our attention was the 16th Street and the hibiscus.
Right.
And I think you took pictures of hibiscus. And that is on, we're looking at that for the engineer to draw a plan and then do that with 16th hibiscus and the seawall they're proposing out here at Bayside Park.
Yeah, and I had pictures and I had them on my laptop, but it was very difficult to show you. I mean, what Nora did was great because she made everybody a set and it was like, much more effective. My pictures on my laptop did no good. I saw them, but so it's like, but if we can send them to Kyle and he can print them out just on paper and with
Yeah.
a recap, that would be much better for our meeting.
Actually, correction, it was 7th Street, Bayside Park, and 16th is getting done now, and then hibiscus is on our radar. Because we did have the engineer look at hibiscus and he thought we had more life left in it. But yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah, and even like in the candidate forum on Monday, I don't know if you stayed till this part, but it was brought up about the, of course the beach umbrella thing kept getting brought up, but the kayak launch and all that kept coming up, which we've talked about that a million times in our meetings. And, again, it's like finding the funding and getting it on the rotation and all that good stuff. So it's like, it would be kind of good to say, this is when, it was brought up and then this is when it was taken care of kind of thing. Or this is when it's scheduled to be taken care of. Because a lot of people, if you
Some
just
of the
say,
stuff.
this is where it is on the rotation, they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because you can't do everything at once. Everybody knows that we don't
And especially
have-
with those big capital projects, you can't,
Yeah, exactly.
you just
So
can't
just to
get
know
that
it's
right away.
coming.
You gotta budget it.
But he didn't know that it's already been discussed and it's, it's as underway as it could be at this time. So I guess a way to make sure people know that we're working on something like that.
Well, yeah, you might see something that needs to be budgeted, and it gets us scheduling that in the future for a problem.
So April's like when we have to do first quarter, right? Like you get up there and say whatever, April. Because then say if we have everything, I can take the initiative and put a board together with what we have, our findings, and then you can just let us know what's already in the works, and then we could just present to them, be like, this is what we worked on. So they're like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Here you go.
I mean,
This is what
even
we're
if we
doing.
just pick 3 things, like, this is like our assigned duties as the Park and Rec Board, even if we just pick 3, and then it's not all about, these events are great, we only have like 1 a quarter or whatever, but like, this is what we're doing with the rest of our time. We're doing what's assigned to us as a board. And we also cover those things like at the meetings, which is good. So, yeah.
Speaking of the events, what is the next proposed event?
Well, we talked about the Fly Me to the
Yeah.
Moon and doing the like Frank Sinatra pizza truck, Italian ice kind of thing again. And like if we do it in the spring, I don't know if we
Did we say a month for that? I can't remember.
April or May, I think.
April. Yeah. Okay. Curious.
Yeah.
And then you'll take that. When's the next time you go in front of council?
It would be April
So we got to do something in between to get
it
approval for
approved.
that one.
Well, I mean, we kind of touched base on it and like, if is everybody good with doing that? Do you guys want to talk about a month or a date? Because it's one of those things where like, if we're not tied to the date when we have city council vote, because it's like, okay, we book all the moving parts and then we go to city council and they say no. You know what I mean? And then I have to call them back and try to reschedule. Or do we try to get it's like, who do I book first and not, so
City council, book them first.
city council book them first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like ballpark, I guess. If we're
I'm-
gonna do April, we'll just say we'll host it sometime in the month of April, and then once we get it nailed down. But because that was what held us last time, so I feel like if we let them go first, then it's open to just booking, and then we can all work together. And then we'll just propose the budget, whatever that would be.
Okay, so and all of that has been done. So they've already agreed to our parking, our safety, like the police, the so obviously, and Kyle has a nice format for the budget. It's going to be way easier to just pop in numbers. So what I can do is call and get price estimates. And then we'll try to do, like the band's going to be similar in pricing. The Italian ice people they showed up and they just sold stuff. And hopefully that's what the pizza truck does too. They just show up and they sell stuff. And then it'll be a bring your own beverage. Like, so if people want to bring pop or water or whatever, they can bring their own coolers like they did last time. That worked out. And so I really could just get some tentative dates of availability and then we could check the wedding and,
Yes.
the whole schedule as far as the room. And so maybe February's meeting, should I ask Patty to book me?
To get
What-
the approval.
Yeah.
With the numbers.
The numbers.
Yeah.
So we can just say an April event, and then we'll do Fly Me to the Moon. And then the budget, what I can do is I can call and get an estimate for, I know we did that last time too, estimated cost.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then we have the recaps of what we actually spent. So some of the stuff we might have gone over a little, but then something else we went under. So we were pretty right on with our budgets. And then we can go from there. Can you check with Laura and see like what the availability is in April?
Oh yeah, I will. Yeah, we'll get that squared away.
Well, no, I just meant so then I can call
No,
the
I
band
know, I
and
know.
yeah, I can call the band
After
and
that.
see their availability. Because actually, it is kind of good if like we book January for April. I mean, that's enough leeway to hopefully get the pizza truck. But the pizza truck that I was looking at, they are booked out like so far in advance. It's crazy. It's called Engine 51, I think, and they are all over the place because it's all they do. I called. What is it now?
Slice.
I wanted to say
Square.
piece.
I was gonna say square.
I'm like, Slice. I called, or Piece. I called Slice, And they don't even do them anymore because they don't have enough employees. They don't have enough people to man the restaurant and the truck. So this Engine 51, they do fire, like burn pizza or coal, whatever, fire, like the wood, brick oven, yes. They do brick oven, and this is all they do. So they are just booked and booked and booked and booked. And so maybe, we can go find them somewhere and get some pizza and bring it into the next meeting. Because they were at the Largo fire department not that long ago. So anyway, and then another, like for this event, if there's anything else that you want Kyle to put on the budget that you're thinking of, like if we could maybe do a fun like Italian based raffle thing, because like a lot of people suggest that we do 50-50 raffles, and it would be a fundraiser, and I know they're always pushing for us to do a fundraiser. So, I mean, I don't know. Now that we have some experience and I see what the crowds are like, I don't think it would be a horrible thing to walk around.
That's why I was suggesting not just a raffle to get emails and names. It was more to create a fund.
Yeah.
And 50-50s are always fun. People go into that. And a lot of these places that are all coming here love to donate something.
Okay.
Again, not this time around, but next time, we need businesses really to do that.
Okay.
My husband gets phone calls all day long, just shoots out gift certificates to like local schools and things like that, because they're just raffling them off as a fundraiser or doing a silent auction on them, depending on where it's going,
Okay.
If you're looking for an idea for a raffle, you could put one in to buy a tree.
Yeah. You could do it if we have the 501 by that point, we can dump it in there, or we can have it
raffle
towards something that we want.
I just went by Wilcox today because I knew it was coming over here, and they have these
Those are
beautiful, the Royal Poincianas, and you can get one for $275 and they'll plant it for $150.
Oh, wow.
So
What is it?
Those are
these are
beautiful.
tropical trees that grow around this area. They're Royal Poincianas, and this is
Mom has them.
a jacaranda tree. I mean, they're very beautiful trees.
How big are the ones that they plant, and how long does it take for them to grow into that?
Well, they've
In my
got,
lifetime.
they've got about a 15-footer. I just was over there this morning because I was kind of right here, but they've got one that's a 15-footer and it's $275.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that's not
And so
bad.
if you could have a raffle and then shoot the profits or the proceeds to whatever you want to do, but once you get to, your tax, the city's tax exempt, so it's $450 and you get a huge tree and
Yeah.
put it in the park. I mean, I think people would. I'd give you $100 for it.
And you can do a silent auction on the plaque underneath it.
Yeah. But there's a lot of ways. These are beautiful trees, and they have it over at Wilcox.
Okay, awesome.
And then I just happen to be getting the pricing on it. Actually, if you do, the more you do, the cheaper the price.
That orange tree there, that dumps a lot of its.
Well, after it blooms, it blooms in March.
It's only once a year.
Yeah.
It dumps it. All right.
What's the name of it again?
What's underneath
It's
it?
a Royal
So pretty.
Poinciana.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
Royal Poinciana, and then
Yeah.
the purple one there is the
Jacaranda,
jacaranda.
that's some of those are blooming.
Yeah, I actually
Those are
did a
beautiful.
stained glass window on a jacaranda tree, and I love them so much. They're beautiful, beautiful trees, and they provide a lot of shade too.
Yeah.
But the floral parts that fall off, fertilize the grounds, and so it's not that big a deal. You just let them fall and decay, and it's all better.
Did you
All in my car every time I go
did you
home.
get the
No
card
one's
for
house, but I did
that
passes just once a
one
year. Yeah, no.
The,
Sorry.
trailer that was the pizza guy? He goes to like the brewery. No.
Where would I have got?
I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't have anybody. I just did online stuff, and
I would think he'd be listed, but if not, I can try to find out.
okay, yeah,
So
we
we
can
have
have
some
a
kind of-
couple, a couple options. But is there anything else, because obviously the February meeting, other than just set up for this, we won't meet again until before that request from city council. So what I can do is put the budget together and then have Kyle or Patty email you guys out a copy. and then if you have any suggestions or changes or whatever, but if we just follow the same format as the last 3 things that we've done, we'll just fill in what we need. It might be a little different, but won't be too far off. And then we didn't have any issues in any of the other events with any of the things on there. So, you know, was there a couple things that we would do differently with timing or, you know, all the different things that we talked about? Yes. And so we can correct those things, but I don't think any of those things were things that would go on the budget. They were just more things for us to either make it run smoother or whatever.
And this time around, what day of the week we're going for Saturday, and we're going for a touch earlier? Well, we just have to see what the sunset is, right? Because we got to get.
Yes. And last time we started at 4 and we said later, but we couldn't because the sun set, but it was so hot at 4 o'clock, but we won't have that problem
In April.
In April.
Yes, but we went daylight. Because I think the band had a little you know, we had lights on, but still it was kind of dark out there.
For them to
Those
clean
guys
up.
were cleaning up, yeah.
Yeah. So it should be bright, like lighter, longer
Yeah.
this year.
Well, too, we'll
We'll check
also
on
have
that.
like the pizza, so that would be like kind of like a dinner thing. So yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on sunset, but just saying.
Yeah, because I do remember like groups of people leaving to go out for dinner, but if there's pizza there, if they want pizza, then they have an option to eat, not just like a drink. But, okay, so I will,
Call the pizza people first. Get their date and availability.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so like April 20th, it's 7:57 to sunset.
7 o'clock.
7:57, so basically
Oh,
8 o'clock is set. You got a little bit of the.
So we can do
light
like
after that.
4:30 to
7.
7:30?
Oh yeah, 4 to 7.
4 to 7 or 4:30 to 7:30? Do you guys have a preference? 4 to 7 or 4:30 to 7:30 or 4 to 7?
Well, yeah, if they get there at 4:30 and they don't get their pizza till like 5, so yeah. Because people eat between like 5 and 7 normally, so that would be like ideal.
So 4:30 to
7:30
7:30?
or 7, whatever.
Are you good, George?
Is there enough light for cleanup, Kyle?
Oh, we got if it ends at 7:30, we don't have the
An
sun
hour.
actually setting till about 8. I think it's enough because they'd only took the band, what, 40 minutes at max, probably 30.
But people always come late too, so you can count that as well.
Yeah.
It's a half hour we're talking about, but if we're wanting to stay safe, then.
I would say 4 to 7.
I'm indifferent. I mean,
It's a
I'll
half
do
an hour, I
either.
don't care that much about it, but if I have to vote on it, I'd vote for, but I.
You feel strongly about 4 to 7,
I don't
George?
feel
No,
strongly
I'm just
about
throwing
anything.
it out.
Yeah, I don't
think
care.
it would be better.
4 to 7.
What do you think? You guys will have more light, you know, maybe a bit.
I'm an early guy with everything, so that falls into my schedule.
Okay, 4 to 7 is fine. 4 to 7 it is. And then, yeah, so I'll give you guys like 2 weeks before I have to get up in front of council to like get your, you know, like if you have anything else you want to add on there for, you know, to Kyle, and then Kyle can disseminate it out to the rest of us, so we don't have to have another meeting in between for 15 minutes. I mean, if you want to, we can, but we probably don't need to.
If it turns out that we need to between now and when, we would have to decide on the meeting.
I would say between, we're gonna meet obviously on the 21st, which is next Friday. So I would say if we had to meet it again, it would be on the 26th of January, because the city council meeting in February is probably going to be on the 7th. So actually it could even be on Wednesday the 2nd of February. Or the 3rd, you know, somewhere in that first week, because the first Monday is on the 7th. It doesn't fall really in the first week, it falls in the second week. So yeah, that gives us a little more time.
The first week of February.
Yeah.
Will you guys be here for the meeting? For the beginning of February? This is the only like month that
This
we
is-
would need confirmation
this is
because I
only
won't
if
be
we
here.
need to, Right,
Hmm?
only if we need to have. a
February
meeting.
7th, will I be here? Is that
No,
what
that's
you're
the, that's the day of the city council meeting,
Is
so
that
if
what
we
you're
need to
asking?
have, no, if we need to have another meeting to go over details of Fly Me to the Moon
Yeah.
before I present it to city council, you know, if the emails doesn't, if that doesn't work with us sharing information, if we could meet like maybe the 2nd or the 3rd
Yeah.
for, you know, half an hour. Are you gone that whole week?
Yeah, I'm going to the show.
What about the week before, the 26th or 27th?
Yeah, I'll be here for that.
Nora, how are you for that week?
That's only 4 days after the,
I know.
I would suggest we,
4 days after what?
after our meeting on the 21st.
I know, but all we're doing that day is setting up tables. We're not even meeting. We're not, I mean, we're not doing anything with Fly Me to the Moon on that day. All we're doing is health and wellness.
Yeah, either way, I'm good.
Okay. Well, why don't we see if we even need the meeting, and then I'll have Patty throw out some dates. How about that?
That's good.
Because I have a feeling we won't need it, because it's, like I said, this isn't much different than the things. I know last year, these events took us so much time, and
Yeah,
like.
'cause we didn't know.
We didn't
trying to
know,
make
we
this
were
good.
working out every detail. Like, I don't think it's gonna be that time consuming this year.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll just, if we need it, then we can kind of figure it out then. And Nicole's great about, like, you know, she could email her stuff to Kyle, and if she happens to be out of town, and we absolutely have to get together to figure something out. And we can always text you and say, Nicole, what's your vote? Okay. All right, are we good with that? Okay, so then we'll do that, and then, there's a couple, like, there's probably like 4 reminders that need to go back out before our next meeting. So I'm gonna type something up for Patty and have her send it out to you guys. Like with dates, like for this, please have it by this date. For this, please have it by
Bless
this
you.
date. If you have something, bless you. If you don't have anything, just, if you could please send her an email and say, I don't have anything, and that way she's not waiting for you. And then the meeting, and then the updates on, ideas for the park surveys, and then if you have anything for the April event, like suggestion. And then obviously if you have anything for the health and wellness, you can send that to Kyle too before that. So I'll put everything on the paperwork. And then as we, item number 6, as we already discussed, next meeting date and time will be Friday, January 21st, and we moved it from 2 to 1 p.m. and that will also be on the update from Patty. So there'll be like 4 or 5 things, just bullet points with dates and times and reminders.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second that. Am I allowed to second it?
Yes?
Okay, I second it. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.